Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about threads. And I'm sure you've heard a lot about it and maybe you're even on it. But in this video, we're not only going to cover the obvious things like how it's different or similar to Twitter and Instagram, but we're also going to dive down into how the feed is curated. What exactly is the criteria when posting posts for a thread? How can it integrate with other platforms? How can you utilize it to not just have fun, but grow your profiles, your personal brand, and your businesses? We're going to look at what the engineers and the CEO of Instagram have in store for the future development of not just threads, but how threads will fit into Meta and how threads will fit into the larger picture of the development of what's called the Fediverse, which we'll talk about. I'm going to dive into some cool hidden features that I noticed, not just with Threads itself, but how it can integrate with other platforms. And along the way, I'm going to give you my tips and insights for how you can get the most out of this platform, not just on the platform, but on other platforms as well. So for the rest of this video, we're going to be looking at a screen recording from a mobile device. Threads is currently available through the Apple iOS store as an app, as well as on Android devices. So, go to your Google Play Store if you want to try to download it. And in this video, you'll also see what it's like to set up your account and what it looks like when you first get on there. But we're going to learn a lot of things. There's going to be a ton of nuggets in here, so let's jump in. So as you might know, Threads is intimately associated with Instagram. You will be using an Instagram account, and you can use more than one Instagram account if you have one to set up a thread or multiple Threads accounts, but they are going to be tied together. What we're looking at here is one of my profiles that I use for this example. So this profile, the audience has an affinity for marketing. There's a lot of real estate professionals, attorneys, but this account on Instagram was very meme friendly, meme heavy. I posted a lot of memes that relate to the work in that field. So keep that in mind while we're looking at how this feed is curated as we go through. But you can see this profile is already set up. I created it at about 10 p.m. Eastern Thursday night. So it's like less than 12 hours old at this point. And it easily let me import my Instagram bio and my pictures. It was really easy to do. It carried over one link. So you may know that you can now have 5 links on Instagram. It will carry over your first link. So if you want to change which link is featured here, you might want to make sure you click this edit profile button. But lo and behold, we are here. It doesn't look all that different from an Instagram feed, except you do have these tabs here that say threads and replies, which is where you can go to see posts that you've made in reply to someone else's thread posts. Now, very quickly, you can scroll and see your following. It's easy to remove followers if you don't want them following your account. And then here's an example of what the replies would look like. So this is a thread that someone else posted, and there's my reply there. You can also toggle here, so you don't want to manage who can follow you and have to go through and remove people all the time. If you click edit profile, you can quickly turn your profile into a private profile, which means people can't really see your threads or posts unless you approve them to follow you first, which is pretty similar to how Instagram works. Now, taking a look at the home feed, if you click the home icon, we're going to see a curation of threads from people that I follow and people that I don't follow. Now, you might be curious, how is this determined? Well, there's a couple things that go into play here. And if you're a Twitter user coming over to Threads to check it out, or you've been looking for a Twitter alternative, you may be familiar with things like mute, restrict, block, or I'm not interested, which was a way that you could tell Twitter that I don't like content about this topic, or I don't like content from this specific user. Or maybe on Facebook, you like using show me more like this or show me less like this. These are things that Meta is trying to incorporate into how they're engineering threads. This is really great because you could still follow somebody, but decide, hey, I don't want to see them as prominently on my feed. As well as if you see content on your home feed from someone that you aren't following and you don't want to see content like what they're showing, you can signal by using these things like mute, restrict, or block. And not only will Threads know not to show you content that it finds to be similar to that, but if people are following you and they're interested in the things that you do and you don't like a type of content, it could also have an affinity ripple effect, so to speak. Almost every social media platform has something like this in place. But it seems to me that the Meta engineers and Instagram CEO are signaling that they really want this to be prominent on Threads. They want it to be a different experience, a more authentic experience, and a better curated experience, not just compared to similar apps like Twitter, but also an improvement over Instagram, where Instagram, if you like something from one topic once, your entire feed, your entire Explore feed suddenly seems filled with content that says the same exact thing. And just as a quick peek, the terminology that Meta is using to describe what key elements make up their signal system as far as what content to show you and your followers more of or less of are things like merge scores. And that is the combining of various categories of scored content, which means posts, from images to videos and then text posts without media. There's also a boost library. Now, we haven't seen Threads fully embrace trending topics and what's popular now, although they've signaled that that's coming, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But they do have it built into their algorithm that, if something is very timely, maybe it's a holiday and people are talking about July 4th, or they're talking about Thanksgiving dinner around November, it's already built into the algorithm to boost certain time sensitive or likely to be talked about right now posts so people can see them more right away. There's also going to be preferences to close friends, even though you can't see your close friends list on Threads yet. It is a feature that exists on your Instagram account, and we know those accounts are tied together. So not only if you interact with a friend more often, are you more likely to see the posts they make on Threads, as well as the posts that they engage with and like and share on Threads. But if you have them filtered into your close friends list on Instagram, it's already built into the Threads algorithm to have some boosts in preference there. And then they also have integrity demotions. Now, this is especially where if I signal to mute a post or mute a user or block a user or restrict myself from seeing posts with these keywords, not only will that help curate my own home feed and what I'm seeing in my feed, but it'll also signal, depending on the specific set of actions, to Threads like, hey, maybe we shouldn't be showing content like this to other people that we think are similar to Kat or Kat's profile. And if it's a block, that's a stronger signal, right? Like maybe this person's contentious. So we should take a closer look to see how we're adding visibility to this person's threads and their posts on Threads throughout other people's timelines as well. So again, right now, the curation is starkly different from Instagram. I'm seeing a lot of diversity on the accounts that I've sampled through so far. On the accounts that I haven't really followed anyone, I don't have any followers. It's mostly showing me company accounts, right? Because it can't really mark what my profile's about. I haven't threaded anything. But on the accounts that I've gone and I've imported my bio, I've imported a few friends, a couple hundred people are following me already. My home feed is really diverse, and we all seem to share an affinity for success, casual chatter, interested in business happenings like, things like Twitter versus Threads and Elon versus Zuckerberg. And people are calling it out too. It's not just me. This platform feels so organic. No need to polish or edit stuff. Just post what you feel. Are you feeling the same? And there's been a lot of other people expressing that they're very happy that the guru bros haven't seemed to infiltrated Threads yet. There's no spam. There's been mention that there's no advertisements yet. I wouldn't hold my breath on that one. Meta definitely wants to make money, but it will be really interesting to see how they curate what ads to show people and how open they are to letting people, small businesses or big businesses or anybody, access their ad network and boost posts. There really hasn't been that much talk from the CEO or the engineers in this regard, but I would love to hear your thoughts. If you think that they'll never roll out any type of paid advertising or monetization on this platform, I'd love to have you comment. And if you think they will, how soon do you think that will happen? How much of a priority do you think it is? Right now, it's a little bit unspoken, but I'm pretty sure they're going to want to make money off this platform. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the search bar. So if you hit the little magnifying glass symbol, you can go to a search bar, but it's not a search bar like you're probably used to on other platforms. You can see that I used it already to try and ask Catherine on here. I wanted to go and give her a follow. And it was great because you can search by usernames very easily. Problem right now is that currently the search bar really only lets you find users. So you can type a word, but you're not going to be able to find posts. And you're not going to be able to find posts or anything like that. So the search is really limited to find other people on the platform for now. We've got the engineers and the CEO saying that they are developing a better internal search system. And then when it comes to making posts on Threads, people are calling it threading, people are calling it threads, people are calling it posts, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure it'll develop over time. But you can have up to 500 characters per post. You can also add media. So as a test, I'm going to just take a quick picture I took yesterday. I didn't plan to do this, but I made some toasted bagels really quick, everything bagels and some spinach dip. It was delicious. I'm going to post that as a post and then add an additional post to the same thread. And I'm going to say the flagels, the flat cut bagels, were the winner out of that and the chunky chunks of bagels. They were just better vehicles for the spinach dip. Now, anything I continue to add right now to continue to add another post to the thread when someone views this entire post, they'll see what I'm writing right now in successive order. But as soon as I post it, I can't go add a reply as another post that's part of the thread. It'll be treated like a reply and blended in with everyone else and maybe ranked depending on how many people engage with it, interact with it, what have you. Now, for your notifications feed, there's nothing really too exciting here. You can see quickly who's following you. You can see who's liking your posts and commenting. It is really simple. There's no bugs so far that I've noticed. It's really easy to go and engage with people or reply to people that are leaving you comments. And then in addition to notifications, I want to show you how easy it is to share things from threads currently. You can share a thread by clicking the share on the specific post that you want to share, or you can share from your profile or anyone's profile. So let's say I want to share this cool bagel thing I posted. So I have the option to add to my story, which is Instagram, post to my feed, which is Instagram, and a few other things. Now, if you do share to your feed, it's going to format it with a cool little layout on the background. It'll let you add the Instagram filters if you want to. It'll create a preview of your thread post. And then you can go and customize your posts as if you're posting on Instagram, because you are. I'm not going to go and add any music or anything specific here, but let's just type up a caption. And remember, we can use hashtags over on Instagram that will be clickable. There currently are no clickable hashtags on Threads. It seems like Threads wants the text of your post to be able to describe enough what the content of your post is about to know who to send it to, who to put it in front of. But because they want to be part of the Fediverse, I imagine that hashtags might become clickable on Threads sooner than we think. And just as an FYI, if you aren't familiar with what the Fediverse is or what it's supposed to be a decentralized network that kind of brings together all of the major social media networks. That way, if you're the type of person that's like, oh, another platform I have to manage. Well, if a network's part of the Fediverse and you post on one, the end goal, and this is kind of like a long-term goal right now, is that, what I post on Threads could easily be shared to Twitter and to Instagram and to Facebook and to Mastodon and to whatever other social platform wants to be part of the Fediverse network. And you can create it one time and it can share and go to all your different feeds. Now, that would be really convenient, right? But there's a lot of implications. There's a lot to think about and digest there. How similar do the posting formats on each platform have to be for this to work? How much farther is your data and privacy going to be shared, etc. But if you start to hear the term the Fediverse, it's this thing that social media platforms and major decision makers are going to have at the top of their mind to see, if this is going to be the next big thing, they want their platform to be able to assimilate with it. But moving back, we're going to get my spinach bagel dip post up on Instagram. Now, if I go back to my Instagram profile, refresh it so I can see the post, you can also see my thread join number up here at the top. Here's my post. Now, what's really cool about this, and I haven't seen anyone mention, is if you go up here, you see my Instagram caption, you see my thread preview. But if you go up here and click via threads right at the top, you're carried over to the thread itself over on Threads. Now, not only is this a great opportunity for people that haven't followed you on Threads to come over there and follow you and see what you're doing on Threads, but if I had included a link, a clickable link, like this is my recipe for my spinach dip in this thread, in this post, people could click it. There's no more link in bio. You can just say in your Instagram caption, click into my threads, click via threads under my username to read the whole thread or to get the links for each of the things I'm talking about in this thread. And that's incredibly powerful because one of the biggest obstacles that anyone trying to market anything or share things, share information, share content on Instagram has had to deal with is, there's a link in my story or type this link to get there or link in bio or use my link tree and scroll until you find the link that I'm talking about here. Well, now you can just share a thread that has the link in it or links and share it to your Instagram feed and voila, people can click to your thread and see all of the links that you mentioned. That's a huge, 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 huge thing that Instagram was lacking. And yeah, so basically, if someone came over from Instagram, they'd be able to go and see that thread. And I'm going to make a quick note as a comment on my Instagram post to help other people figure out that there is this feature that will tell people, hey, jump over to this thread and click the via threads, and you can see anything that I've posted in any of those thread posts. So let's go back over to Threads. I'm going to go to my home feed. We see my new post up there. Let's look at some of the settings. Now, there's been a lot of talk about, maybe you haven't heard the rumor, but if you did, you've probably heard people say like, oh, you can't even delete your Threads account. You have to delete your whole Instagram account. And that is like a little blip right now that the CEO has said that they're working on. You can deactivate your threads. You can delete your individual thread posts, and you can do all that without deleting your Instagram account. Let's look at, there's some really easy features that you can invite people. There's going to be prompts as soon as you join to, invite and start following your Instagram followers that you already have. And that's a really great way to revive an inactive Instagram audience, right? Is see which people are still active enough to kind of test the waters over here on this new app. They're actively using the Instagram app, right? If you struggle, if you've had an Instagram account for many years and you're like, wow, half my people don't even use this app anymore. My engagement sucks. This is kind of like a little pathway to get around that. But you'll see different features while you're scrolling through. And there are some features that are not that different from what you're used to with Instagram. You can download all your information. You can also, which will take you to your Instagram account and download everything that you choose. You can get all these different topics. Do you want to download your images? Do you want to download your comments? Do you want to, that whole thing? There's also this feature for transfer your information. Now, transfer your information is a little bit misleading. It's kind of like a download of your information. But basically, and I've done this already, you can transfer your information, your threads, download any thread that you've posted, including the media attached to them, to WordPress, to Blogger, to Daybook, and to Google Drive. So if you want to make a really quick RSS feed to your WordPress account to create a blog based on what you're creating as threads, you can do this very easily by syncing your WordPress account. I use Google Drive, and unfortunately right now, posts from threads that are posted together as part of one thread, each individual post is going to download as a separate document. So that kind of sucks. It did also download all of my replies, which is kind of cool. When you open it, you can see that the text is really readable. And then let me find one with an image to show you what happens when you transfer or download. There you go. You have a clickable image button here. It knows that there is an attachment, and it's saved to your drive. So this is a really easy way if you want to download all of your threads, everything that you've posted on threads, including the media that you've used. You can get it over into your Google Drive folder or any of those 4 options. And now you have this photo saved externally. There you go. Now, this is a little bit bulky. I'm not sure if they're going to change how this downloads. Maybe they'll improve it so that way you can download all posts that are stitched together under one thread in one document rather than having a separate one for each individual post. But there are some cool use cases for this. So if you do programmatic SEO, you might be able to scrape all of this into a spreadsheet without having to scrape on the Threads platform itself. You shouldn't do that. They're not going to like that. They'll detect it very easily, and you shouldn't do that with other people's content, right? But if you want to take your own content and go through and use it to create content for other platforms, or if you want to put together a spreadsheet of all the text of your threads and be able to use that as context for a language learning model like OpenAI to kind of learn your tone of voice and how you talk, this is a great way to get access to how you talk on threads to use as a model for your voice in this type of format. You could also use it to hand over to an assistant, like a virtual assistant, and say, hey, these are my posts on threads. The ones that have images, I'd like you to take and make a set of Facebook posts with those images and improve them to include hashtags and spruce them up as you see fit. But here's a great starting point for you to go and create consistent posts on Facebook. So cool feature, not for everyone, maybe not that big of a deal, but still just cool. Now, we've talked a good amount about what the platform looks like, what threads look like, and we've mentioned some things about features that are coming and privacy concerns and this, that, and the third. Now, a good friend of mine, Marcella, she is in the social media management and marketing world. And I was really excited to see that she commented and gave some of her feedback and thoughts on threads because I respect her opinion a lot. She actually made the forward mention that Mosseri, the Instagram CEO, was on Threads mentioning that they are in fact going to expand the following feeds page and the search explore function. So that validates what we were kind of predicting earlier in this video. They are also rolling out better video share functionality. It isn't, you can kind of upload media as video, but it's not easy to do right now. There's no Jiffy or Giphy integrations yet, and I'm sure people will want to see them, and I'm sure the engineers will take that into consideration as they roll out new features. And we've already commented on some of the differences between Instagram and Twitter and Threads, but in Mosseri's own words, he says, for those of you trying to think about what to post here on Threads versus on Instagram, my take is it's less about text versus photos and videos, and more about what public conversations you want to have. Do you want to engage in more of a back and forth? Threads makes sense. If not, probably Instagram. So we've seen especially if you're in the marketing space, we've seen this rush of, hey, make sure you reply to all of the comments on your Instagram post really fast, engage with everybody. If you want to reach new audiences, go and comment on everybody's posts. And it's kind of started to feel like this empty one-way engagement for the sake of engagement. And I haven't seen that over on Threads yet. And it'd be really cool if this has a kind of rubber band effect where everything that's happening with Threads kind of shakes up the dynamic that's kind of taken over on Instagram, and Instagram can become more social again as well. We also get some insight here that the forward vision of Threads is to keep people on the platform. So we've seen record adoption rates. I'm about to show you that this morning at 8 a.m. Eastern, this is Friday morning, I created a Threads account with a different Instagram account, and it was the 66 millionth and some change Threads account to be created. So it like doubled overnight since I created the account we've already seen. That was at like the 30 something million users. But Moseri is making it clear here that the goal is to retain daily average users, not just to have this become a fly-by-night social media app release that fizzles out when nobody adopts it. And, having this bridge between Instagram and making it easy to sign up and connect with people that you followed previously on Instagram is a really powerful dynamic behind this user adoption rate. I think it's really impressive, and that bridge is making it happen. But I do want to take a second to note that this user adoption rate is happening while this app is really only available on mobile. There's a barrier there. You've got to go and get it on the app. Some people are having trouble finding the correct app. You'll want to make sure you see this cool thready @ logo when you're downloading the correct app in your app store. But it's also really only released in app stores in the US, and it hasn't really been released in European countries yet because there are still some privacy concerns, things like GDPR compliance. Other countries are a bit more stringent than the United States is on their privacy criteria, their cookies, the information that they gather and share, and consent. So this user adoption rate is already beating Twitter's daily average users in the United States. And it's pretty much just a mobile app, and it's pretty much a US-based mobile app right now. And when you think about that, when this release is happening, they kind of didn't really announce it that much. There was a little bit of buzz about it. It hasn't been hugely promoted. I haven't seen paid advertising for the app. This is all word of mouth and maybe people reading about social media news or hearing that their friend joined Threads or hearing Elon might be bringing a lawsuit against Threads. These are the things that are bringing curiosity and rumblings to get people over on this platform. And it's already, at least as of this morning, already surpassed 66 million downloads, even with its limited availability around the world. So those are some major things to think about. What is the future of this? Where is this going to go? As far as the privacy issues and concerns, what is Meta in general going to do to be able to address that and get this rolled out to our friends over in Europe and other countries around the world? The other things I want to point out here is there are a ton of basics that are missing. Search, hashtags, a following feed, graph syncing, Fediverse support, messaging maybe, because right now there's no DM. But this is something to keep in mind. Right now, hashtags are not clickable, and I'm including hashtags in some of my thread posts, but nobody else is. And I'm seeing people like, oh, there's no hashtags on here. Well, if hashtags do become available and only a handful of people have been including hashtags in the threads that they're making today, when hashtags are searchable, when there is a true search, when people can click hashtags to view more that's been posted using that hashtag, and only a select few amount of people have been using hashtags in their posts, that'll kind of put you at an advantage in the early launches when hashtags are first incorporated, right? Before hashtags get flooded. So this is just my personal recommendation and my personal prediction, but I think that you should be including hashtags in threads that you want to be searchable in the future through hashtag functionality. Just a tip, you don't have to listen. Now you'll notice on profiles that you can see people's follower count. And even though if we were to click this, we could go and look at their following list as well. It's not prominently shown. So there isn't as big of an emphasis on like the follower to following ratio as you would see on someone's Instagram profile, which I think is really nice. It gives you more freedom to follow who you want to follow without looking like, you follow more people than follow you and you're not fun to follow back. Like that's a little bit more hidden and obscured on here. And then another thing that I think is important to talk about is logging in and logging out and switching accounts. Switching accounts, it's really easy to toggle between multiple accounts on Instagram. With Threads, it's simple, but there's an extra clicking that you got to do. You can't just swap over to your other Threads account. you'll actually have to go and log out of the Threads account that you're currently logged into. And then you'll want to click this switched account, choose the account that you want to log into. And then I'm going to use something that I haven't signed into Threads yet, so you can see what the sign up process is like. You've got to confirm your two-factor authentication if you have it. I did the text code because if you wait for it to pop up on your device that you're currently using, it doesn't seem to work for me any of the times that I've done this. And I've done it 5 times now, 6. So enter that code really quick. And then once you're in, you can import your bio from Instagram or write something different if you want. Now, with the profile that this is the first Instagram account I ever created. It's like, definitely over a decade old, mostly music. It has a lot of friends from when I used to live in New York, so personal friends. Lots of music, entertainment, sports, food pictures probably too. You can quickly follow the people you follow on Instagram over on Threads. So you can click this follow all button down here at the bottom, or you can scroll and choose who you want to follow on a one-off basis. You can come back and do this later. You don't have to do this right away. But this is one of the reasons why the adoption rate of this has probably been so easy, is because you can very quickly find the people you want to follow. Now, you'll see a little bit of information here. You can get a little walkthrough on how to like, repost, and make your own thread. And it also gives you a brief overview of some of the privacy, sharing, and data information. But moving forward, when you're on a fresh, brand new Threads account, you got a little preview on my old account, and you kind of saw it was like entrepreneurial, it was small business owners that were on my feed. But on this page, as a blank slate, we want to see if there's a little bit of difference in the curation before I go and follow anybody. So brand new profile, haven't followed anybody. I see a bunch of friend requests waiting, probably from people that were following me over on Instagram. I'm just going to confirm a few. I should probably be more careful about this, but I'm assuming they're all active, right? They must have sent this follow request within the last 24 hours. I have a lot of inactive followers on my very first Instagram account. Let's jump over to my home feed and see if this is curated any differently than the profile we got a sneak peek at already. So as soon as it loads, I see sports. Look at that. We've got NBA. So we're seeing that curated here. I don't think I follow Grant Cardone, but maybe a lot of my personal friends do, and that's why that affinity is there. There's some memes. Definitely big on memes on my other account. And to me, and Wiz Khalifa, that's music, MC Hammer. So, this is already looking like a very different home feed than the home feed on my other account. And I haven't done much of anything except, it knows my Instagram profile. But other than that, that's really the bridge between Instagram and Threads. And I honestly don't think it's that similar to Twitter, even though that's the comparison that it keeps getting. Elon Musk himself obviously thinks that there's a major parallel between Threads and Twitter, but I think it's a totally different experience. So we're going to start a little bit broad and just cover tips for how to look at Threads versus Twitter and Threads versus Instagram. Those are the 2 main platforms that it's being associated with and compared to. When it comes to Threads versus Twitter, there's several key differences. Twitter is really known for its quick and concise updates. And in my opinion, Threads offers a much more conversational approach to interacting with others. Right now, when you make a post on Threads, you have a generous 500 character count, whereas on Twitter, I believe it's 240 unless you're paying to subscribe to Twitter Blue. Just in its very nature, you can say a little bit more and people can reply to you with a little bit more because the character count limit is doubled. But again, on the other hand, Twitter's strength really lies in its trending hashtags and topic-based exploration, which aren't present in Threads. And as we discussed earlier in this video, those features might be and probably are coming soon. But really, when you think about it, Twitter's slogan is what's happening and is really a strong platform for microblogging and real-time discussion of trending topics or popular talking points. And Threads has the potential to move in that direction, but there is no way to see what's trending right now. So if you want to talk about what's trending, you can do it on either platform. But with Threads, you'll really be relying on the affinity, the curation to get your threads in front of people. You can't just use a hashtag to join the conversation like you can on Twitter for right now. When it comes to Threads versus Instagram, obviously they're intimately related, right? Your account is basically shared. But really, most people think of Instagram as a media-forward platform. You have someone posting a static image or a carousel of images or a video, and then, there's a caption with it and there's some replies to it, but the replies can be really annoying to read. You've got to expand them all, and most of the replies are oriented from whoever's replying and the author, even though you can reply to other people's replies on Instagram. It doesn't really facilitate or encourage group conversations. Whereas with Threads, You might start a thread and someone could reply to it, but if someone replies to that reply and someone replies to that reply, you'll be able to see a whole thread of conversations where everyone replying kind of has just as much prominence. So the more you scroll, the more people you can actually see their contributions without having to keep clicking to expand things. So while text does play an important role on Instagram, captions are really important on Instagram, and you can reply to Instagram posts. Threads really emphasizes written discussions and the exchange of ideas and thoughts. And even though Threads doesn't have an explore page, at least for right now, you're still able to explore content from people you are not following that might be talking about things you're interested in through the curated home feed on your Threads app. And again, the more of your Instagram followers and following you bridge the gap with over on Threads, the more the type of content and the audience that you build an affinity around will be similar to what you have over on Instagram. But again, the main focus is going to be that conversational dynamic rather than here's a grid of images and videos on an explore page for you to click through what appeals to you the most. So if you want to create visually appealing posts and visually driven carousels, and if your text isn't intended to create a dynamic conversation, Instagram's probably still the best place to go. But if you want that conversation, even if you want to sprinkle media in your posts here and there, Threads is really great because it's not flooded with people that are trying to engage and comment on Instagram posts for the sake of engagement, which we've kind of seen Instagram get flooded with in the last year. And there is no race to run and like and reply back to people as soon as they comment to you. And there is no limitation where it seems like, it's one poster and then the dozens of people that might reply are really just engaged in a two-way conversation amongst themselves. The conversation can thread out in any direction over on Threads. So someone commenting on your thread can meet someone new and have a conversation with someone new very easily in a way that's very different from the dynamic on Instagram. But I digress. I mean, there's obviously a ton of overlap, and there are probably going to be a lot of people that are trying to use Threads the same way that they use Twitter and trying to use Threads the same way that they use Instagram. And they're going to have to figure out that it is different. How different is a matter of subjective opinion, but it is different. But that's just some general insight to keep in mind as you're thinking about what platform you want to use today. So for the rest of this video, I'm going to break into a quick list of suggestions and my takeaways. If you don't want to hear that and you just wanted to know what this platform's all about, thank you so much for watching this video. I would love if you gave it a thumbs up on the way out. If you do want those tips, keep watching. And before we move on to that, if you do want to follow me over on Instagram or on Threads, just search for Kat Wagner. You'll want to look for the purple picture if you want to see my branding account. I do have another smaller account where I share more marketing tips and not so many memes. That's at marketingcat on Instagram. So that's a good place to follow me too if you're interested in content like this. And then if you like video walkthroughs, if you like news, if you like tips, if you like marketing role plays, how to actually take a marketing tool and put it into practice and put it into use in the best way possible, subscribe to this channel because anything that requires, a conversation or a video to describe is going to pop up on this channel. I'm not always as flashed out white as I am in today's video, but I wanted to record outside. It's really nice out. So I should have planned this a little better. And last but not least, as far as the news on the Threads platform, if you're using it, if you've noticed anything, if you like it, if you dislike it, if you have mixed feelings, if you noticed a bug, if you saw someone announce something that's up and coming, share it in the comments because one, I'll be more in tune to it. I can follow it and I can look into it deeper. I can do a deeper dive. But two, a lot of people come to YouTube and they jump right down to the comments to see what other people are saying. And it's a really great place to learn and share information so we can all learn together. So if you have any feedback at all or any thoughts, please be sure to share them. And from there, let's roll out. Let's finish up. Let's tie this video together with some quick best practice tips from my point of view. So if you haven't downloaded the Threads app, what you're going to do is on your mobile device, you're going to go to your app store. So the app store for iOS or Google Play Store for Android, and you're going to search for Threads by Instagram. Tap on the app. You'll want to make sure it's the one with the little thready @ symbol and select download. Once it's installed, open the app and you'll be prompted to sign in with your Instagram account. Now, as far as my tips, number one, there's no hashtags right now. However, my tip here is if you were going to use a hashtag to describe what your post is about, try to make sure the real word. So if the hashtag was spinach dip, you'd have the word spinach space dip in the actual text of your thread post, right? So make sure your thread uses the topical words to describe what you're talking about. This will help you build your affinity and reach new people, especially as the platform's figuring you out and adjusting its affinity algorithms. But my personal tip is don't think that hashtags won't ever exist on this platform. We've seen Masseri hint that hashtags are in development and will be coming and will play a role in search features. And since nobody's really using hashtags right now, if you're using them appropriately, you shouldn't just be spamming irrelevant hashtags. But if you're using them appropriately now as you create threads in its early days, when hashtags do roll out, if they roll out, and I think that they will, they should retroactively become clickable and searchable. Your content will be in the feeds, in the results for those hashtag searches before everyone else starts flooding in to use hashtags. So, just my tip. Right now, maybe you don't want to use hashtags. Maybe you'll be relieved that they're not part of this platform. But thinking forward, it's something to consider that if you use them now, it might pay off. The second thing I want to mention is we explored earlier in the video how if you share a thread to your Instagram feed or your story, there'll be a little line of text under your username on Instagram that says via threads, and a user can click that to come over and see your full thread, all of the replies, all of the posts that are part of that thread, and so forth. So the biggest tip that I want you to keep in the back of your mind is if you want to post something on Instagram and you really want people to be able to click a link to get to somewhere to explore more or click more than one link, and you know that yelling link in bio is going to cause 50% of people that would click a link that was right there in front of them to say, I'm too lazy for that, or that's too difficult, or I'm not doing all that. Well, if you create your content over on Threads and then share that thread to your Instagram feed, they can get all and any of the clickable links without having to search through a giant link tree to find the correct one, just by clicking the via threads and looking at the thread. So if you want to make a list of top 10 recipe blogs that I use, and you make a thread with 10 different posts included, and each of those posts features one of the recipe websites that you really like, and each post has the relevant link to that specific website. Well, you can say, hey, click the via threads button and get instant links to all of them. The third tip I want to talk about is because there's no explore page and because there's limited search, right now what's available on your home feed is kind of like the holy grail, right? So whether as a reader you want to have a better curated feed, or as someone who wants to grow their Threads account, you want to make sure your content and your audience is growing in the right direction with the right affinity for the topics and audience that you're looking to grow. You really need to spend time on your homepage and give signals to the platform what you want to see more of, what you don't want to see as much of. If you like something and want to see more of it, rethread it, reply to it, like it. Follow some people that talk about those things. Take some time to teach the platform how to work you into their algorithm. The fourth tip, kind of related to tip 3, is your home feed is a blend of content from both followed and non-followed users. And likewise, that means that you can be shown to people that are not following you. So if you want to be found, this is a good time to build those two-way connections with the auto connect and auto invite features that carry over from your Instagram account. As long as you think that your Instagram audience is a good overlap with what you'd want your Threads audience to be, getting those connections over, accepting their follow requests, or even following them back will help boost your account and topical association and get you shown to more of the right people at the right time in the right placements on the Threads feeds of people that don't actually follow you yet. My next tip, and this is the one that you should probably take with the biggest grain of salt. I'm usually not a supporter of jumping and following a bunch of people, but I do feel like Threads is different because these are people that I'm already following and or already follow me over on Instagram. So this kind of feels like new waters, right? Untested waters. And I do encourage you, this is the time while everyone's checking out the app. And there seems to be a lot of opinions that this is different. This is finally the social platform that's going to stick because it's spearheaded by Meta. It's aided by the easy adoption from an Instagram account right over to Threads. And there's also an emphasis from the CEO that continued usage is a huge priority. Keeping people on the platform is a huge priority. So in this one rare instance, I'm going to say this might be the time to go and just kind of shamelessly follow people. Follow your friends that you have on Instagram. Accept the follow requests from people that follow you on Instagram that are trying to follow you on Threads. I'm really shocked because I My main account I opened up yesterday and already had something like 380 requests to follow my account. And since then, I'm getting people that I don't follow, I don't know on Instagram following me. And I've only made a handful of threads and I'm getting great engagement. And my home feed is really interesting posts. It doesn't seem like fluff. It doesn't seem like spam. There's no bro and guru chat GPT generated content really like flooding and getting in my way like I see recycled constantly on Twitter and Instagram. And this could all change. And people might say, hey, this is boring. I don't want to use this app anymore. And threads could fizzle out. Who knows? But I do think this is a little bit more unique in that you can kind of shamelessly go and follow all your Instagram friends over here and make new friends in a way that I would never recommend doing on Instagram or doing on Facebook or doing on Twitter. I am not a proponent of following for the sake of following, but here you're following people that you've already followed somewhere else. So it is really different. And I encourage you to take a look at that and do that now. Do that in the early days. Get your feed established, get yourself worked out in the algorithm, and connect with any of your existing active audience on Instagram over here on Threads. If you have an inactive Instagram account that you kind of wanted to abandon, repurpose it on Threads. Reconnect with any active followers that may have been over on that Instagram account. Rekindle engagement over on Threads. Use that account to develop a specific topic or niche or affinity that you want to be different from the main account you choose to use on Threads. And lastly, collaborate with other Threads users. We've seen collaborations be huge on platforms like YouTube and Instagram. And we've also seen on Twitter where people will partner together to retweet each other's posts to get them in front of, to basically share audiences. But with Threads being so new, it's a great time to seek out collaborations with people that talk about your topics and your ideas, or people that disagree with your ideas. You can both amplify your reach, tap into new audiences, kind of cross-pollinate your followers and foster mutual growth, and ultimately get a more powerful and engaging conversation going than would happen if you created a thread on your own. So in short, take advantage of that bridge between your Instagram audience and your Threads audience. Bridge that gap, grow your audience, start having conversations, write your unique and authentic thoughts, and then share that when relevant to other platforms like Instagram and Twitter. Threads by Instagram presents a unique opportunity for us all to engage, grow our networks, not just showcase our own content, but learn from and get inspired by others' content. So my final thoughts is it's really easy to get on there and get started and instantly see interesting things to talk about. It's already had exponential growth as it gets its privacy and data sharing policies in line, and it rolls out to our friends over in the UK, over in Europe, and Meta rolls out, the engineers roll out more features that we're all looking for and really listens to our feedback. I think the continued usage and the increasing adoption of this platform is going to be unique. I think it's going to work. I did not have this confidence when I first heard about Threads. I have it now after using it, after exploring it, after seeing other people's reactions to it, and after looking at what the engineers have in store. If you think this is going to be another attempt at overtaking Twitter, I don't really think they're that similar, which I'm shocked to say. I thought they would be. So if you want to give it a shot, now is a great time to do it. And if you have other thoughts, if you agree with that, if you disagree with that, if you're noticing things, if you see opportunities, if you see a cool feature that hasn't been mentioned, share it in the comments. I would love to learn from you. And on your way out, I'd love if you liked this video. And if you're not a subscriber, I'd love for this to be the day that I earned your subscription. But until next time, I'm Kat. This is my channel Brand Hacking, where we talk about all things social media, SEO, and growing and branding your business. I hope to see you over on Threads. If you want to give me a follow over there, just search for Kat Wagner. That's Katt. And until then, happy brand hacking.